Hey everyone, Flash here. Thanks for joining me. You're here obviously to hear a little bit about the new ZoomX Invincible. Nike came out with a shoe with a full ZoomX foam midsole, and I was reviewing some or listening to some reviews online, and I was curious. I ordered a pair, so they came in this morning by courier. Hopped on the treadmill right away. And I thought I should make this quick review of this one compared to a couple of others, just to give you a little bit more information. If you're still researching because you're not sure if you should go for it, hopefully this will help in your decision making. So, is it a good shoe? No question. It's a great shoe. Is it for me? No. Question is, why is it not for me? I will jump to a big generalization. I find it too wide and too moon boot-like feeling on my foot. Don't get me wrong. Big stack, cushiony marshmallow midsole. When I started running in Hoka Onionis, Clifton 6s and Clifton 7s with that cushiness, it took me a while to get used to, but I did actually enjoy it. In this case, there's a number of factors that made the shoe, I really wanted to like it. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. It may actually be perfect for you, but I'll tell you why I didn't like it. So compared to, say, a basic trainer like the good old Pegasus 37s, you know, bread and butter trainer, minimalist, I guess you could say, heel counter in there. Nike, big generalization. People say that it's typically a shoe that is made on narrower lasts, right? I would tend to agree. I do not have a particularly narrow or a particularly wide foot. I guess you could call it an average foot. And I got used to the slightly tighter feel of the upper on this shoe, as well as on the one I broke the bank on. Of course, I did get the Vaporfly X% ZoomX foam as well. And I don't want to spend too much time comparing them because that's not the point. But yeah, I do feel, by the way, if you're curious, that carbon plate, does it actually give you that energy return when you run on a racer of this cost? Yeah, you do feel that energy return in that carbon plate. I love this racer, by the way. I wish it was not as expensive and I could have a bunch of them and train in them. But anyhow, and yes, it's got that good old canoe shape Nike outsole here coming up on the heel. This heel counter is a bit different. It's got those little pads, by the way, inside. I don't know if you can tell there, but not uncomfortable. Again, the Pegasus tech-wise has much less minimalist, I guess you could say, insole or heel counter. With this one, okay, here it is. So the Invincible, very padded in terms of the heel counter. Should be really comfortable. A padded neoprene-like tongue that doesn't come up a lot though. It's a bit short. Basic laces. I was a little surprised at basic laces for the cost of the shoe. Now, so a lot of padding around the heel, and it's not that it was uncomfortable. I just didn't like the feel of it around my Achilles heel. And maybe I just got used to, again, more minimalist uppers. And the shoe is very light. Don't get me wrong. It's not a clunky, heavy shoe. It looks like it might be, but it's not. It's still quite light. But take a look at this. I mean, you're getting, this is a shoe for you if you want super high stack, full ZoomX midsole, lots of marshmallow feel to it. But the kicker is, yeah, it's how wide it feels. Don't get me wrong, when I moved to Keen hiking boots, doing the Adirondack High Peaks, the 46ers there in upper New York State, it took me a while to get used to having a foot in a very wide toe box. But of course, with hiking, swelling of the feet after 10 hours, you know, in those mountains, coming down those mountains, you really do benefit from that wide toe box. So I do know what a wide toe box feels like, and I'm okay with them. It was really wide, and too much so for me. I almost felt like I was sliding around a bit too much inside of it. It felt, honestly, like I was in moon boots. So I'm going to return them. I was a bit disappointed. I wanted to really like them. It could be a perfect shoe for you. It's obviously a high quality shoe. If you have perhaps a wider foot, if you do really want that spongy stack, what else? Perhaps if you're a heavier runner, it could be an actually perfect shoe for you. So there are a lot of reasons why it would be good. And take a look at how wide this outsole is. Super wide outsole as well, everywhere. So I think probably the logic is that if they're going for neutral or limited stability by having so much full ZoomX foam in there, more isn't always better, as they say, in my opinion. But by doing that, they probably have to compensate by going with a lot of width in the outsole so that they would still have some stability procured by the shoe. So that's it. That's my review. I hope it helps. I hope it didn't sound too negative, but it's just not for me. So I'll return them, but it may be the perfect shoe for you. So if you wanted to compare it to, say, a Pegasus or a Narrow Racer from those other lines, that's my review. And again, you're getting this if you want really marshmallow cushiness, full ZoomX, and you're okay with a bit of a wider toe box. Okay? Take care. Be well. Be safe. Happy running.